Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Live from Volpus Studios, it's the MCS1 show featuring Caleb Heller, and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome to another amazing edition of the MCS1 show. I'm MCS1, and today I'm once again joined with my amazing co-host, the amazing, astonishing, and awesome Caleb Hennon.
Apparently all I am is A adjectives. So.
A adjectives. He's definitely not an a-hole though, people.
Wow.
But he's an A-plus friend. Question mark?
How touching.
Let's talk about something really interesting going on.
And very important to both of our hearts.
Important.
Serious business.
We're going to be talking about today Vidangel. Yeah! As part of our Happy Valley Heat series, because Vidangel is based in Happy Valley, Utah.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Well, where else is it going to be from? Like, it's not, Idaho doesn't have enough tech-savvy know-how to be doing that kind of a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And, I mean, where else is there even enough interest for all of that?
Arizona?
Nah, dude, there's not enough interest in Arizona.
All right, so let's talk about Vidangel. First, before we even get into what Vidangel is, we're going to backtrack a little bit. We're going to go back in time. We're going to talk about the V-chip.
Oh, yeah, the V-chip.
The V-chip is literally a prerequisite to Vidangel.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, you remember the V-chip? It would just block out violence on television?
Yep.
And
I remember going into, like, a lot of those LDS shops.
Oh.
And, like, they had little previews of how the V-chip worked.
Really?
Like, they were like, oh, this is a regular scene. And this is a scene with the V-chip.
Oh, man.
You can't even tell the difference. And I was like, I can tell a huge difference there.
This is your movie. This is your movie without the violence.
Yeah,
Any
and then
questions?
it's like, so any Quentin Tarantino movie is going to be, and it started as the end.
Oh, man.
Because, I mean, his movies are basically just violence from beginning to end, which is what people like about Quentin Tarantino movies.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is it Quentin?
Oh.
I don't know how to say that guy's name. Tarantino films with a Q.
Yes. So that was the V-chip. And then eventually there's this other thing that emerged in Happy Valley about, I would say about 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Called Clean Flicks.
Ooh.
And what Clean Flicks was...
Clean Flicks got in a lot of trouble.
And I got in a lot of trouble. What Clean Flicks was basic distillation of their whole story is... They were a movie editing company. What they would do is they would take a rated R movie and they would chop out certain things and make it basically PG-13 standards.
Right.
And then they would rent out those movies and I think occasionally sell them as well. And so they got in a lot of trouble with Hollywood. And kept getting shut down because they were breaking various copyright laws. And what I would recommend doing, we don't want to go into all the details about this. There is a documentary. It was actually on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's still there. It is called Clean Flicks.
Right.
And it is, and I'm not just saying this, it is the best documentary I have ever seen. It's amazing. It goes through Clean Flicks from rise to fall.
Right.
Even shows, it even acts like a story arc of having a villain in it. And it's so cool. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so good. And after Clean Flicks, there was a couple other companies that just spawned out of it.
Yeah, but none of them really did much, though.
No, they didn't. And eventually those got shut down as well. Interesting enough, not just by Hollywood, but some of the people, one person in particular who was running one of the Clean Flicks knockoff shops, he got in some trouble for some sexual activity with an underage girl.
Now that is a heck of a story.
That was a heck of a story. And it was in the documentary. Spoiler alert, blah, blah, blah. It's awesome, though. Great documentary. Highly recommend it. So that was Clean Flicks. A few years passed. The dust settled.
Right.
A few more people were like, well, we could do this, but with streaming.
Yeah.
And that's where Vidangel comes in. VidAngel basically takes and edits out certain things that you don't want, and you can choose at the beginning,
which is the difference.
Too,
with VidAngel versus all these other ones.
Yeah,
is that you have that. There's options.
Yeah, and you can be like, well, I don't want the swearing. I don't want the violence. Mm-hmm. Well, I love the violence, but I don't want the swearing. I don't want any nudity. Yeah, you can pick and choose. And Caleb, have you ever seen a movie from VidAngel?
I saw one.
See, I've seen one as well.
But here's the funny thing about it. So I have a buddy who basically just uses it, and this is a pretty brilliant way to use it. He uses it to rent movies for really cheap, right? So he and what he did, and this was, it might as well have not even been VidAngel, by the way, because all he did is he was like, okay, well, I want to cut out the swearing from the opening credits, leave everything else the same.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So basically, we watched the entire movie.
What movie did you watch?
Sin City.
Okay.
Frank Miller's Sin City.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I saw American Sniper.
Ooh, okay.
Interesting. And I've seen both versions. And the VidAngel one, the one I watched, it was interesting because they cut out the swearing in it.
Which there's a lot.
Yeah, not the violence. But what was interesting was when it would cut out the swearing, I noticed when audio's off a lot in movies, and audio was tracking off really bad for a while, and it didn't quite sync back up till it got to the next scene. Or the next track in their editing.
That's funny.
And it drove me nuts. It was only for about maybe 30 to 45 seconds, but it just drove me insane. Like
but that's, how
low quality that was for me, someone who has edited film and audio before.
Yeah, no, that's, even to the layman like myself, dude, that's annoying.
Yeah, and people notice those types of things.
Yeah, of course.
And so I saw that, and that kind of put me at a negative vibe towards VidAngel. Sure. Even though I already had negative vibes, it's kind of just reinforced my disgust towards them, I guess. And so, how does VidAngel's streaming work where you can rent for $1, Caleb? You want to explain that? Yeah,
so basically, you pay $20 for the movie, and then you get a buyback, basically. So they buy the movie back from you, right? So it's $20 basically to buy it, and then if you sell it back the next day, then they give you $19 back, and they just reimburse you basically the same way that you pay, right? So you can also keep a movie for a couple of days like that, and it's just basically $1 for every day that you keep the movie.
Yeah.
And then I think that they also have an option where you can just purchase the streaming for the full 20, and then you just keep it, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't used them all that much. I just know a little bit of the ins and outs of how they do their stuff, but yeah, that's pretty much roughly how they get it to $1.
Yeah. And so let's talk about why this service exists exclusively in Happy Valley. It exists everywhere, but why is it so popular?
Well, it's a big deal here just because, again, it's the whole, it's just the big LDS population here, just
and the Mormon culture, and there was
and they're trying to. The funny thing about it is that they're, I understand that it's the whole, protect your kids from this and that and the other thing, but it's just like, well, then just don't let them watch those movies at all.
Yeah, and there was a big thing with the LDS Church in the 80s of not watching rated R movies.
Yeah,
that came out in the 80s.
Right, which was a really funny thing because, at the time when they first started saying, well, we just don't want you to watch bad movies and bad content and all that stuff, it was really funny because initially they didn't give anything about ratings. It was just don't watch bad movies. And then eventually they were like through enough pressure, they were like, okay, fine. Don't watch anything that's rated R because it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. It's just a silly way to, to really live it is that, this is the guideline, but you can watch awful movies that are rated PG-13.
Yeah. And for those that don't know about the way that movie ratings work, is it's chosen by, I think, about 6 different people.
Mm-hmm.
And basically those 6 people decide what a movie is rated.
Yeah. Could you imagine having that job, by the way?
I think that would be kind of, I don't know. For me, I would be very, I don't want to say strict, but I'd be like, oh, that's definitely R. Like, you would know.
Yeah, well, there are certain things. The funny thing about it is that they have these certain guidelines where, if you can have one F word in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
But if it's more than that, then it's automatically R.
Yeah.
So like if a movie has 2 and one of them is barely audible, it's automatically rated R for language.
Yeah.
You could have nothing else in it.
And that's just a little strange to me as well. Because I don't remember movies being like that.
No.
With those weird rating systems. But moving away from the radar rating system, this is Vidangel now. This is what exists.
Right.
This is the streaming service.
Right.
And so there are people in Happy Valley that just love it. They adore it because now they can watch Game of Thrones, a very popular, violent, sexual, swearing TV show on HBO, and a bunch of other things as well. And they can finally be caught up with things that everyone else is talking about. Because before it was like, oh, I can't watch that. It's rated R or something. And now there's this, quote, loophole in their
which is
faulty logic,
which is
where
again,
they can do this.
Which is again, going back to that same thing. I mean, that whole uprising in the 80s or whatever, and the Mormon Church coming out and saying no R-rated movies. They didn't initially want to say that because again, it was the whole just use your conscience to figure this out. You shouldn't need guidelines.
Yeah.
And so when you give guidelines like that, it's just like, well, there's always going to be a loophole to a guideline.
Exactly. And so my favorite thing has been about this is like people love it, people hate it. Personally, I hate it.
Well, yeah.
To be honest, and we'll talk more about that as we go on. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be very upfront. I despise it. But we'll get into that a little bit more. But I have been enjoying social media for Vidangel for the mere fact that people on here just fight left and right, and it is hilarious to me.
I mean, people on the internet will fight about anything.
Oh yeah, but for something I already don't like, really funny.
Right.
So, I'm on the Instagram, the gram
of Instas,
the gram, and so
the instant gramification.
Yes, the instant gramification. Thank you, Caleb. And I saw an ad for Vidangel on here with Deadpool. And for those that don't know,
that was a very bad movie.
Very bad movie.
But so good.
Caleb, you're a huge Marvel Comics Deadpool fan.
Oh, yeah.
How many times did you see it in theaters? Like
15?
15?
I think.
You think?
I'm going to have to go back and count, but it was about 15 times.
About 15, and I even saw it with Caleb one of those times as well. And I know he did a ton, because in his wallet, once when I saw him go pay, he pulled out his credit or debit card, and there was a ton of movie tickets in where you're supposed to have your photo ID.
Yep.
It was pretty cool, actually.
And they were all Deadpool.
It was all Deadpool. It wasn't anything else. Which was hilarious. Way awesome. Do you still have all those?
I do, actually. But I had to get a new driver's license though, so they have been supplanted into a different area of my wallet.
But they're still there.
They're still there. They're still there.
That's awesome. So anyway, the ad shows Deadpool on there. He's got a little heart, with his hand. It says, "Deadpool is now on Vidangel. Watch any filtered movie for $1 bleeping per night with sellback." Right,
which is like what we talked about. Buy it for 20. And they you sell back for 19.
And then here's some of the comments. I just screenshotted these because I thought they were great. Here's one that says, "Watch what you want, but it seems a bit far-fetched to think you could clean up Deadpool and not murder the entire premise of who Deadpool is and why he is the way he is.
Right.
And it's not good for your children to hear the word no once in a while. It builds character."
Yeah, well, and that was the funny thing to me is all these people saying, "Oh, well, I want to take my kid to see this movie." Well, you're a horrible parent.
Yeah, and another thing, someone said, "Remember, folks, violence is wholesome fun, but for everyone. But F words and seeing a naked person will ruin your soul."
That's a good one.
That
I
was
like
a good
that.
one. And then, they start whining about the BYU honor code on here.
And I love how that gets tied into everything.
Everything. And it really does in Provo. And that's something we're going to go over eventually. It's just the honor code. It's kind of a mountain of something to distill down. Right. Because there's so much.
It'll take a long time to discuss it. But
it really will.
But essentially it's just it's like BYU's thing that says don't do bad things.
Yeah, it's BYU's specific rule against bad things. and it's just ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
some of it. And so there was a huge fight on here between two people, on here about it, and it was just so funny. And my favorite line in here, but besides fighting with about the honor code, is, and there's a girl who was pro honor code or pro Vidangel. She said, "What if a kid wants to see it? Obviously, there's kids who have seen previews for a superhero film and probably want to watch it." And then the reply, "That's like saying your kids should be allowed to see The Hangover because it looks like a funny movie to them." Deadpool is not a superhero. He kills for revenge and is simply labeled as a superhero because he comes from the Marvel Universe. They need to research what media their children consumes.
I'm going to put in a little nerd side note here. That guy needs to research what Deadpool is. He's an anti-hero. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's not a superhero.
It's just, it's ridiculous. But anyway, he says if a kid wants to see it and their parents are not comfortable with the content, then they should just be a parent and not let them.
Yeah, I don't understand what's so hard about that.
Well, the reply.
Oh, boy.
Just because a filmmaker decided to act inappropriate behavior, kids aren't allowed to watch. Well,
yeah.
That's the story. That's the point.
Is she serious?
She is serious.
Come on.
And pretty sure that's what teens would like to do and watch it as well, but probably aren't comfortable with a girl being nude and watching girls pole dance, especially if they're with parents, friends, girlfriends.
Pretty sure that teen boys are going to be fine with seeing a naked chick. I mean, I don't want to put a blanket statement out there, but most teen boys definitely are fine with seeing pole dancing.
Hold on, it gets better. And that doesn't mean the rest of the movie there isn't something interested in seeing.
Okay, yes. I mean, I see where you're coming from on this, but it's like, why don't they just wait till they're adults and they can buy it themselves?
And, yeah, seriously, that's what a lot of things that I wasn't allowed to watch growing up, just waited until I got older.
Yeah. And then I bought them myself and I watched them.
And I realized most of those things actually sucked.
Well, that was a sad realization.
Thanks, most Oliver Stone films outside of Scarface.
Oh my
Thanks
gosh.
a lot.
Scarface was epic.
Scarface.
And then there was just, it's like Oliver Stone made two films, Scarface and everything else. Scarface was amazing. Everything else was just rancid trash that he pulled out of his garbage can.
Agreed. And this girl had more to say. And then she said, and I'm pretty sure you, as in the person who's talking to her, shouldn't be allowed at BYU unless that's some kind of dumb joke.
I'm sorry, what?
He was saying...
Just for seeing a movie?
Yeah.
Wait, I guess I'm not overly familiar with the honor code at this point, but...
And defending it.
Is there something...
Because he was seeing a rated R movie and he was saying, hey, this is junk or whatever. Kids shouldn't be seeing this movie. She's saying he should not be allowed to go to this school.
I don't understand what's wrong with what he's saying, though. She's clearly an idiot.
Well, that's... Yeah. That's the idea.
That's the point. Okay.
And then...
well, all right. Okay. Well, there it is.
Yeah. And then he said another thing, and this might have been previous in the comments. It's kind of hard for me to tell from these screenshots. But it said, why the hell would you watch this edited? That would take away most of the humor from it. You go to a movie like this for the dark comedy, over-the-top violence.
Yeah.
Go stick to your G-rated movies if you are an adult that gets offended easily. Bam.
Well, I mean, there are plenty of other movies to watch.
Yeah. And here's just a couple more points, and then we'll get away from this whole Deadpool comment thread. Is there anything left of this movie after it's been edited?
Yeah, I can't think of... Okay, I'm trying to think. There would be the scene when he's walking down the street. The other scene when he's walking down the street.
It also depends on what you're pulling out. Because I had a friend who watched it edited just without all the swearing and the sex and just the violence.
Ooh, okay. Well, okay. Fair enough.
But still, that is...
Oh, right. Because Vidangel does the options.
Because you get to pick and choose which vice you want to ignore.
Okay, but if you... Let's say you wanted to make this movie with have no violence, no sex, no swearing. That would... I mean, the movie would literally be 5 minutes... I don't even know if it would be 5 minutes long.
I'm going to give it benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to go with 15.
You can go with 15?
I'm going to go with 15.
A 15-minute movie? Because I think...
movie. It's going to be a short film at Sundance about a cancer patient who gets back with his estranged stripper girlfriend
after putting on a red suit for some reason.
After putting on a red suit. That's what the movie's going to be.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible movie. If you have just that. Yeah. But when you add everything else, it's I think it's the second most popular R-rated movie of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty huge and it's awesome. Another one that someone said, and it's basically kind of the same point that Caleb and I said, is why I find video editing services useless. You watch movies like this because you like that kind of stuff. If you have to edit it out, you probably shouldn't be watching that movie in the first place.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that one earlier, didn't I?
No, that's worded differently, but it gets a similar idea, but not the same idea across.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically just like, why, I mean, if you don't like this type of movie and you don't like it to the point where you're taking things out, just don't watch it.
Yeah. And then here's the final comment, and then we're going to segue into something with this comment. I'm pretty sure that Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, for the matter, would not be okay with this. Not to mention using images from the movie for your marketing. If you don't like what's in other movies, why don't you go and make your own? That way, you don't have to paint over someone else's art.
There you go.
Now, we'll get into that foreshadowing of making your own in a little bit, but let's talk about someone else's art. So, I'm not gonna lie. I think like editing finished products of movies and
paintings, video games,
things like that, unless it's like something where the studio said it's okay or something, but for me, I would feel my art is obstructed.
Yeah.
Like if someone took an episode of this show and edited it, cut out like just things they don't like I would feel kind of crappy because I go through these personally and I edit them. I don't do the best job. I do an okay job. Still working some things out. But
it's your work.
But it's my work. It's my portfolio. It's my art. This is what I'm doing to express myself outside of work, I guess, or something else. This is what I enjoy. And for someone to take that, something that I worked hard at, that I've done in my spare time, something I hold, I don't want to say sacred, but very highly.
Something you hold dear, I guess.
I hold dear.
Yeah.
That would really piss me off.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about this too, and this was my thought when the whole thing started out about, comparing it to art and everything. And at first I was kind of like, well, is it really art? And then I was like, oh yeah, it actually kind of is. And then my initial thought too, after all of that, after kind of wrestling through that myself, was I was like, well, I mean, if we're going to edit these movies, then we need to edit the Sistine Chapel immediately.
Yeah.
It's a ceiling full of people's out.
Yeah.
So
for Harambe.
Well, I mean,
not even for Harambe.
Is there another reason to have your out though?
No.
Just for Harambe.
Just for Harambe.
But that's the thing though. Is like that means that like all the art from like the Renaissance period. I mean, how many of those sculptures and those paintings have genitals out?
I was thinking about this too. It's like, well, why don't we just go through and add out the things in the Bible?
Yeah.
Because I don't like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like Samson grabbing a donkey's jaw and beating the crap out of people with it. Although that's pretty epic.
That is pretty epic. I mean,
I don't like him, tying foxes' tails together.
Well, that's the part
and lighting them on fire and sending him into a field.
I was gonna say that's probably the part that would piss you off the most, but then you already said it.
Yeah. Personally, I think we should just edit him out completely.
Samson?
Yeah, the funniest stuff.
Yeah.
But seriously though, and it's very pick and choose.
Yeah.
And that kind of, I don't know. It just bothers me. I'm not an all or nothing type of guy. I try to be, very moderate, and I'm not really super black and white. I try to be a lot of gray area, but hence the show.
Yeah, yeah. I was like,
this show's nothing but gray area people.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't agree with this editing art. And here's the other thing. With censorship, I personally think censorship is hilarious. But it has to be done in great, but it has to be done in the right context, like the context of Jerry Springer.
Oh man.
And here's the other thing. Man. We don't edit shit on this show. We don't edit any shit, do we, Caleb?
No, there's no shit on this show that gets edited.
Shit we edit on this show.
This show is about as pure as snake oil.
Snake oil. Get your snake oil.
I mean, it's about as pure as, just
everyone's here. Yeah. Everyone at home is hearing bleeps right now. And they're like, what the is going on?
Oh, man.
So I'm not for VidAngel's form.
Although I would be more for VidAngel's form if they used bleeps.
Yeah, because bleeps are...
Because that's funny!
That's funny, and that's why we do bleeps here for comedic effect, and we don't get the explicit tag on iTunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But could you imagine
really
watching...
it.
Okay, I would actually be fine with watching the movie Deadpool if there were bleeps. And then, like, so, you know, the nude scenes or whatever, if they had, like,
blurs.
The little blurs or the little black bars, the black boxes just, like, following everything, that would be hilarious.
VidAngel, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, man. See, and that to me would be just, well, and that...
that'd be funnier than the real thing.
Yeah.
Which is why another reason we're bleeping this out of our show.
Yeah, because it's hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious. So, obviously, with the obstruction of art, weird editing and not using bars and bleeping, it caught the attention of Hollywood.
Yeah. Well, in Hollywood, I mean, the copyright laws are pretty strict on a lot of this stuff.
And so, Caleb, do you want to go into the legal stuff?
Sure.
You have a very good understanding of this.
Well, I mean, so I actually read through a lot of VidAngel's defense and a lot of the different things and
do you want to mention like what you've read through as well? This is
sure, for sure.
I found it really cool when you told me this.
So I read through the actual case documents basically, and the actual
like 96 pages.
Yeah, it was 90 something like that, mid 90s.
Big numbers.
It was a mid 90s page document, and I honestly just wanted to get a better understanding for it, more than anything else, because, you know, VidAngel had that video that they posted, and it said, well, this is why VidAngel is legal, and all that, and I was like, well, I'm a little skeptical. I'm going to go ahead and have to make sure this is all on the up and up. So first what I did is I went through and I read through the copyright laws that they cited, right? And I read through those, and I was like, okay, so they were right about that. And then I read through their defense case. Now, the cool thing about it is that I actually have a friend who has ties to them, who's like, his best friend growing up is the CFO of VidAngel. So he had some pretty good links to a lot of the stuff, and I was like, hey, well, can I get a copy of, you know, of your defense? Just, you know, I'm not gonna. They're like, oh, well, are you affiliated with someone? I was like, do you think Disney's hiring me to really get into your case? No.
Yeah.
They don't care about me.
Nah, Caleb, you work for the MCS1 show.
Yeah, right.
You're fired.
But well, that was fast. But anyway, wait, what's my severance package?
Yeah, continue with your
okay. But yeah, so anyway, so I read through their defense case, and actually it's kind of crazy, but they're not breaking the law.
Which
I know
so much.
Like, I know makes a lot of people upset because, and the thing is I mean, if you go from the artistic angle, I understand that it's like, yeah, this is stupid and it sucks. I feel the same way about it. My personal opinion is that. But the facts are that because they're not mass producing copies of the videos, which is what got CleanFlix in trouble.
Yeah.
And also what got there was another one after CleanFlix.
Probably one of the knockoffs.
Yeah, one of the other knockoffs. They got them. I forgot the name of it. It wasn't the one with the dude that got in trouble with the underage girls. It was another one, but that was something that they in VidAngel's case files, they actually cited those. Yeah, so they referenced those and they said, okay, well, here's what they did wrong, here's what we're not doing. And basically, because it's a streaming service, it's actually one of the loopholes that Disney, Turner Cable, 20th Century Fox, and all of those different companies allowed, more than anything else, because, you know, there were services like Netflix, Amazon Video, and all of those things coming up.
And plus TV streaming.
Right,
edited for television.
Exactly. And so, you know, they can't really, I mean, if they completely eliminate that ability, then you're never going to see another movie on FX. You're never going to see another movie on anything other than like HBO because they don't play it edited. Stars, Cinemark TV, Cinema TV, not Cinemark TV, Cinema TV. Or any of those other things. Like, you'll only be able to see it on those channels. Cinemax, that's the one. Right, there it is. You're only going to be able to see it on those channels because they don't edit anything, right? And they don't take anything out. But for TV edits, I mean, they do the same thing. They take out all of the swearing. Not all the swearing. They take out all of the explicit swearing a lot of the lesser explicit swearing. I mean, you can't even say on TV, which is ridiculous. You know, I mean, it's just poo. It's not a big deal.
I like that you had to clarify because it was bleeped.
Like I
and
did.
Then you realized, oh crap, they have no idea what I said.
Yeah, because I was like, oh wait. But anyway, it was just like, so that was the thing that basically allowed VidAngel to say, yeah, we're within our legal rights to do this because their citations were flawless. And I mean, clearly their legal team is very skilled and very talented because they had everything cited. They had not just the laws, but the bylaws.
They were probably waiting for this.
But the thing is that they said, well, if you're going to eliminate our ability to do this, then you're going to have to take away Redbox's ability to do this. You're going to have to take away Redbox's ability to do live streaming. You're going to have to eliminate Netflix's ability to do live streaming. You're going to have to eliminate all of the TV editing for your movies, which means you're only going to be able to play on certain channels. Your advertising is going to take a big hit. And that's the thing, is that the hard thing that Hollywood has to decide now is, what's the bigger battle to fight, and where's the scenario where I can find an acceptable trade-off? Because honestly, if they completely bury VidAngel in this, then there's going to be a lot of other things that are going to come up, like TV editing, and it's going to be like, so why is it okay for TV editing, but not VidAngel editing?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing where it's like you're walking a fine line. You know, and
a lot of gray area.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing about the copyright laws and those things. The funny thing about it is that because of parody law, if VidAngel took a parody approach to it, where they were like, we're taking movies and making parodies of them.
We're editing Deadpool as a joke, people.
No, I'm serious. They could, if that was their angle, they would be completely protected under the copyright action laws.
Well, it is a joke, but a different kind of joke.
Right, it's just a bad one.
Yeah.
But I mean, if let's say they did our idea and they bleeped out all the swear words on Deadpool and they put the black boxes everywhere, that would be funny, and that would be a parody. They could call that a parody, and then
Crap, they're gonna use this now.
We
won't even get credit for it.
VidAngel, if you're listening, I'm gonna patent that shit. And you don't know what I just said because you're VidAngel and everything on yours is edited. So I'm gonna patent that stuff. But anyway, so but this, it's like have you ever seen the show Nathan For You? You ever seen that? Okay. Well, it's basically this guy he's got like a marketing degree and he's a really funny guy, and he goes into these like struggling businesses and he gives them ridiculous ideas to save their business, right? So one of the ideas was, because of the popularity of Starbucks, there was a coffee shop that was going under, right? So he devised the idea of making a coffee shop called Dumb Starbucks, and basically using their symbol, using all of their copyrighted stuff, but because it's a parody, they're completely protected under the law. So they had all the same drinks, all the same like, what are they called? Like bakery items, what's the word? Like
food.
All the same food, smoothies, everything. It's just they put the name "dumb" in front of all of the names of the thing. So it was a dumb mocha latte, and it was a dumb banana strawberry banana smoothie or whatever. And because they put "dumb" in front of everything, it was completely protected under the law. And so that coffee shop then excelled, became a national phenomenon, and the dude who owned it sold it to Starbucks for millions of dollars.
Did Starbucks keep the dumb name?
Yeah, they did. It's in Palo Alto, California, I think it is.
Crazy.
So it's somewhere in Southern California. I'm pretty sure it's Palo Alto, and it's that shop is still there. It still exists. It's still called Dumb Starbucks, but now it's under Starbucks control.
Wow, sounds pretty dumb, but kind of funny.
I mean, it's a ridiculous idea, but the thing is that because of the way that the parody law works,
they were able to get away with
exactly.
that.
Well, it's the same reason why Saturday Night Live can do all the things that they do.
Exactly.
Where they make fun. If you're making fun of something, then you can use it under the Fair Use Act. So anyway, it's just a funny thing. There are other loopholes that they could take, but they just choose to use the ones for streaming.
So let's talk about the trial.
Right.
They just had their first trial, and we have a feeling that like this VidAngel show, it's going to be like volume 1.
Oh yeah.
We have a feeling this is going to be an ongoing thing.
Oh yeah.
We'll probably be able to crank out 2 or 3 more shows as this
minimum.
As this develops and goes on. And so what was the verdict of the first trial?
So the first trial came back. The result is that there's a halt on Vidangel being able to do any new content moving forward. But, just for the time being. But they get to keep everything that they already did.
Yeah. So Deadpool will still be there.
Yeah, sadly.
But Rogue One probably won't.
I mean, if you need to edit Rogue One, you are a huge pussy.
Oh, they edit G movies or PG movies.
What would you even take out?
They were editing Zootopia.
But what would you take out of Zootopia?
The word God.
They said God?
They said God.
Oh yeah, they did. But really?
That's how it's gone. And the thing about this is I kind of don't blame Vidangel for this. I blame the fact that they saw a market that allowed this to happen.
Yep.
And that there were so many people that wanted this.
Yep.
They're opportunists is really what they are.
Well, yeah.
As much as I personally hate what they do, I admire the fact that they found a need and a niche.
The foresight was definitely plausible.
Yeah, and it worked for now. Well, they are getting. There is a lot of different stuff going on, and we're going to close with this. This is something that people have been posting on my Facebook a lot, and it's getting reshared. Frankly, it's pissing me off. And this is savefiltering.nationbuilder.com.
Man, we already had to worry about saving the whales. Now we got to save filtering.
Yeah.
What next?
Save
the dodos.
No, we're a little late on that.
Yeah, but...
Just a little, though.
But, I mean... It's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah. If anything needed saved this year with Harambe, and that didn't happen.
Bastards.
So, when you go to the website and read this, in today's world, when it comes to protecting the well-being of our children, many parents like you, just like you, are faced with the onslaught of media competing for the attention of their young minds. This is not just sexual content, violence, and language. We're talking about your kids being fed innuendos, subliminal messages, indoctrination, and social conditioning like never before in history.
Holy crap.
Filtering services like Vidangel allow you to pre-edit, and I got some parentheses, skip over parts you choose, movies and TV shows, giving you the peace of mind about what your children are exposed to.
Yeah, but isn't that just also going to indoctrinate them that if they don't like something, they can just not listen to it?
Well, yeah. So it says, right now there's another battle being waged behind the scenes. And this isn't really behind the scenes. This has been going on.
Yeah, how is this behind what scenes?
What scenes? The edited scenes of Vidangel?
Yeah, there's I don't know where this behind the scenes quote unquote is coming from.
So, and its outcome will directly affect your rights as a parent.
Holy crap.
Rights as a parent? Parental rights.
Yeah, are we going to have to do a show on parental rights now?
It's in the works.
Okay.
4 Hollywood studios, Disney, Warner Brothers, 20th Century Fox, and Lucasfilm, have entered...
So basically just Disney. Well, Disney and 20th Century Fox.
Yeah. Well, Warner Brothers.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Disney, Warner Brothers, and 20th Century Fox. I don't know why they even specified Lucasfilms. They were bought out by Disney. Why are they even... Never mind. Whatever.
Way.
It's cool. So you mean 3, but...
have entered an illegal battle with Vidangel in a case that is sure to set the precedent for the future of the filtering industry. This is not the first time Hollywood has strongly opposed filtering services. They were against the Family Moving Act, FMA, not short for Full Metal Alchemist, but short for Family Movie Act, just to specify to anime nerds. A law designed to empower parents to enable filtering services. The # save filtering, all one word, petition exists for you to enforce your right to choose how your family consumes content in the privacy of your own home before Hollywood takes it away. Hashtag save filtering. And I'm not really sure what this petition is going to accomplish, but they needed 100,000 signatures, and last I checked, they were in the early 90s.
Jeez.
And personally, I want us to push forth our own hashtag of stop filtering. Because I don't want this around. Me personally, I hate it. I really do.
I mean...
with apologies to Vidangel, sort of. So, anyway, we're going to start... I want to start getting up the hashtag stop filtering going. See how far it goes. Probably won't get very far. But another thing, before we close, I forgot to mention this. Let's backtrack a little ways. Vidangel, if you don't like this type of content, why don't you go and create your own shows?
Oh, yeah.
Well...
they kind of are.
They kind of are.
Yeah, so another thing that VidAngel basically announced, that because they're not going to be able to do more movies that are being made currently by other third-party vendors or whatever, they're going to start making their own family-friendly content. To which I replied, the Hallmark Channel exists.
Yeah, the Disney Channel exists.
Yeah, we already have it.
Unless those are too risque. Which they probably are.
I mean, I did recently... No, I didn't watch the Hallmark Channel. But I saw a glimpse of Dean Cain on the Hallmark Channel.
Oh, my.
And my initial thought was, where's the black box?
Oh.
Just kidding. Dean Cain, if you're listening...
If you're listening, bro.
We will accept your endorsement.
So, this whole... making movies that to be family friendly,
right.
Like from scratch. This just reminds me of Futurama, where Bender's kicked out of the amusement park on the moon, and he says, "I'm going to start my own amusement park with blackjack and hookers," and then it turned into a popular meme. This is what Vidangel reminds me of.
Yeah,
I'm going to start my own family friendly films with blackjack and hookers.
Except that on VidAngel, both of those words would likely be edited out.
Definitely.
I'm going to start my own video channel with bleep and bleep.
Seriously. All right, that's our show. I want to thank Caleb for coming on.
Of course.
Much appreciated. And until next time, take care of yourself and each other. Peace and stop filtering.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 show. For weekly episodes on society, counterculture, and pretty much everything but politics and sports, subscribe on iTunes or Google Play. For regular updates, head to the MCS1show.com.